Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Alchemy Factory. Let's jump on into it. So, we left off building this little thing last time, and we're trying to use it to increase our soap generation. Now, one of the things I need to look into is the fact that this right here is supposed to be running a sage to potash and use the potash to make soap. The problem is even with the good fertilizer, you're pushing 120, which means that is actually the right ratio for this. That's kind of nice. So, need to come over here, get our sage, double up that. Pushing out 40, 120. So that plus 80 a minute, which 80 a minute. 3 of these. So that explains it. It's technically one of the systems is underproducing to overproduce kind of setup. So we have to find the balance. Leave that balance. Can be achieved for now, however. We're going to focus on getting the plants where they belong. And that actually reminds me. Need to grab the clay. Do more. I might need to start producing more of the charcoal powder simply because as you can see, it is not producing enough. Let me think. Our biggest issue is getting the space together. So, $1,000,000 question. I do this. Beam. Does it work? Okay. that so they're interconnected in a nice manner. Don't actually have to use any of the new stuff because we're not doing heat burns. Actually, we probably should. Reason for that is space saving. Now I can take the output directly from this, put it up there, there. Dang. That gets us pretty far, actually. What is some soap? Okay, so it doesn't quite line up with what it's supposed to, but it does actually do what it is saying it's doing. That is both helpful and concerning. Then we just have to place these down. Because that was done in that specific manner and fashion, this whole thing should just produce soap. That produces 40 a minute, which is not a lot by any understanding, but it should be enough to help. Isn't too far. Good. Okay. We just need to figure out a good solution. And I think what I'm going to do for now, don't get upset with me. Take over here. could clear up that while also increasing advanced fertilizer. Hopefully this will be a very efficient solution. The issue we could run into right now is the simple fact that no matter how much you plan, things tend to go bad. At least in theory. If I get some fertilizer going here, it should relatively self-start. I do know I need to take this and is how we're supposed to be getting our steam through the building. Hooking it up to the top of the pipe. As far as I can tell, these are just gonna keep pushing out. Now, one of these small issues is going to be this is not going to extract enough under normal circumstances. Now, we could increase that, but right now that is not quite that possible. The things of the more, you know, that water has too much thing, the more I put energy into it, the more I'm actually shooting myself in the foot by getting rid of the other things I do need. Okay, now that does work well for soap. Would very much not want to increase the scale of this at this moment, because if I do, while it would be able to push more linseed oil upstairs, I don't think that's actually going to be the full solution to my problem. I believe the best solution to my problem is going to be getting the soaps to backlog, so that means solving every other problem first. That's that. That's making our soaps, but we're doing more with fertilizer catalysts. Like, I see that they're exponentially better than the growth potions, but I also see that we don't have them being exchanged anywhere. No. That is likely to find its way getting recycled. Just because right now, all we're doing is using it to self-power, which is self-soap, which needs linseed oil to get. So, now, we're kind of just gonna sit on it and twiddle our thumbs, because take all this out. I feel like if I set up the catapults to bring our little potion over, from cleaning this up will be probably next episode. But also maybe not, depending on if I forget, as I am oh so prone to do. Ooh, so close to a diamond. Funny thing is, it is not valued high enough for me to really think of that as a proper solution to my issues. And when I look at what we want to do next, profitability is the thing that comes up actually. Having 50 coins at our disposal does kind of answer this problem. Give us the ability to drop the blast potion in, and the coins that we have acquired ourselves so they can be properly converted. Soap is not currently on the shelf, which is a shame. We're also not going to be doing potions. As you might guess, potions can be a bit difficult. Now, the question is, do I want to make a self-contained unit specifically for blast powder? I think, at least what we're going to do now, is we're going to go up to the very top of the roof and at least work on a proof of concept. this needs the advanced blender. Boom. Now it does have a very nice heat value. I just don't feel like the best heat value. Like we're getting a lot of gems here. The problem is gems. Yeah, silver, silver, silver. Ooh, extra. Yeah. Okay, so we can get better fertilizer, but we do not get better heat generation. Gold dust, gold dust. Yeah. Think for a moment. What are we going to do? So, let's look at getting some blast powder going. However, the one thing we do need to do, make sure we have space to do it. So, we are kind of gonna make our proof of concept. Me. Come here. That since we're not using a lot of bronze sources. So, need blast. Requires black powder, which requires this whole fancy thing. Oblivion essence now, if I'm not mistaken. Grab this. Should be enough to generate Oblivion essence. Brandy needs a... Wait a second. Ah, another catalyst that is not quite useful. Brandy is in an alembic, which is another heat. There. Alembic. Realize we don't have need copper. Now we have it. There we go. Brandy needs fruit wine. Now I wonder. Okay, so you can't use it for the other things. Now I always wondered what the point of the flask was. Maybe when I start building a proper tower for all this, because right now 24% increase is good, but only if it is a 24% increase as an increase. And the reason I say that in that particular manner is I have had several games where I made the mistake of just assuming that things worked out that way, when in reality it did not. Here. Make sure I pull this early. The reason we're doing that is so we can put the pipe underneath. And we're missing clay, which 2, 3, 4. Hey, what are you missing? You're missing brine. Okay. That is generally a self-funded thing. That. We are going to switch over to here. Needs what? Was it charcoal and sulfur? Reason I'm doing this the stuff we're doing. Come in here. This. Now, We will have to move that when we get to it, but for now, place a couple of these. Okay. And then we need brush them down. That. This is supposed to be our charcoal powder. So that. That. There is that, and that. And that will pump all that down into there. Still leaves room for our sulfur powder. Unfortunately, we are past the wrapping up point for today, and we will work on this monstrosity in the next one. Alright, everyone. Take it easy.